Alright guys, so today we're going to be installing the internal catch can. Now, I'll go over a few things today, but in hindsight we have another video that we did, shoot, I want to say about like 8 months ago or something. We took the valve cover off an engine, and it was more in detail explaining the product and like what it did than how to install it. This is more of an install video, but I will show you. We do have an engine over there that I'll just show you kind of how it goes on and some of the stuff, but with it off you can kind of get a better idea of how this goes in and like what the actual purpose is for it. So just so you get the idea, Josh will link that video somewhere
in the description,
somewhere up in here. Can you do that? You're good at that. He'll do it. And yeah, so with it you will get the catch can, internal catch can, an O-ring, and over here I actually accidentally set the bolts. Now, a few videos ago we installed our CCV reroute, and you'll see we're doing this down the road, but at the same time, if you're doing it together, you're just gonna you'll see it's not over complicated. It's super easy. So we'll leave that be. So come over here. Josh was kind enough to slam a light in there, and so it sits in like so. All right,
pretty straightforward,
super straightforward. But give me a quick little detail right here. So this is supposed to, all the vapors, the oil vapors that leave the engine are supposed to go through this. Is supposed to catch the oil vapors, the oil particles in the vapor build up and let the oil run back into the engine before it goes through, just kind of like a crankcase. This is just like a simplified way to do it. But also, when you put in, these are cast. Since these are cast, there are tiny imperfections, right? So on this one, it can go in perfect, like it did. Also, there's the O-ring gap still, so when it tightens down. But when you go to put it on, maybe when we go to put it on that truck, it might be a little tweaked. So in that case, sometimes you do have to take a file and just hit it real quick. It's not much you can do about that, because you want it to be a tight fit so that all the oil vapors have to go through it. So sometimes it will take a little bit. I mean, the chance of it happening are slim. We only know a few people that have ever had to do it, but if it binds up, just to let you know that you might have to hit it with a file just ahead of time, so you're not smashing it down into your cast aluminum head and ruin this and possibly your valve cover. I said head, valve cover. But yeah, and so any oil that gets, any oil that gets trapped where the CCV exits, it can actually drain back down. That's why there's this little I call it a sipe, the bevel, sorry, bevel is, it will actually drain back into the engine, so it doesn't have your line filled with oil, so that you get less oil coming out of the hose onto the ground. So big disclaimer, everybody wants to know, on the last video we posted, we made it apparent in the video and they didn't watch the whole video. No, this will not decrease the amount of smoke that comes out of the tube. CCV hose will emit pretty much the same amount of smoke. It's just how it works. It's not what it's not designed to eliminate the smoke. It's trying to collect oil particles from that vapor and leave it in the engine, not let it exit through the tube. But there still will be smoke coming out of it. So if that's what you're buying it for, you're gonna be sadly disappointed, just so you know. And if you ask us in the comments, will it eliminate the smoke, the vapors, I'm not answering back, or I'm gonna call you an idiot, because you clearly didn't watch the video. So, but other than that, we'll get into installing it on the truck right now. All right, so if you've already installed your CCV and then are going to do this, just to let you know that the previous hex size is a 4mm. The new bolts will be 5. Just so you know, that's a tool list, a ratchet, and a 4 and 5mm hex, or just Allen keys. So we'll just loosen them up and pop this out. There's one. All right, there we be. Second bolt off. Now I'm just gonna grab a shop rag, clean that up because there's a little oil on it, but yeah. All right, guys, now that we have it off, like I said before with the valve cover casting, sometimes things can come into play. So this is gonna be where your rear bolt is. We're gonna stick it down in there. We're gonna, without the O-ring, because the O-ring will add like a 1/16 of an inch, and I want to be able to set it in there and make sure it sits flat before we actually tighten it down, just to make sure the casting is good. So let's go ahead and do that. Turn it right. Oh shit, actually, a perfect example. So as you can see on that other valve cover, went right in. On this one it doesn't. So I mean, it can just be those little things. So I'm gonna try and move it around just a little bit to see if we can get a little scratches on the aluminum itself, just so I know where to file. And we'll pull it out, we'll chalk it up in the vise and get the filing a little bit. So it's hitting around these edges, I think. That's what it looks like to me. All right, guys, so generally, in most cases, it'll hit right around these edges. But we wanted a pretty tight fit, so we're just going to try and take a little off each time, test fit it, bring it back and forth, and I don't feel like showing you every time. So you can use a file. I have this with little sandpaper grit on it, little whizzy wheel. I'm just going to slowly go at it. I got it on setting 1. Just slowly take a little bit off and keep fitting her till she goes in. But shouldn't take that many tries. But this was a perfect example. Like, sometimes it does happen, and no better time than now to show it on video. So just be aware of that. Don't put the bolts in there and send her home. That's not the right way. So yeah. All right, one little thing I'm going to say before you go to put this or test fit it. If you can see all the little metal shavings in there, hit it with some compressed air, brake clean or something. You just don't want that in your engine, so just make sure to do that. Good to go. So this is only our first time, so we're going to see this makes it fit. Got a little more to take off there. A little bit more. Okay.
So second cleanup.
Oh, yeah, I'm just that good.
Easy as that.
So pop her out, pop the O-ring in. Like so.
Get the longer bolts.
Oop. Get some threads on this. Now I'll try to go for the back side, which is a pain in the old arse. Threads engaging, sweet. So the new ones, 5mm. Whoa.
You know what you're doing?
I do. That back one. It's still sticking up pretty high, but probably won't want to go down just with fingers, of course. Where are we? We are. In typical fashion, it doesn't want to make my ratchet do its job because it's not in there that much, but I can't get it by finger. There we go. All right. And that is in. Now, just one little thing to check. Not a big, well, I mean, it's a big concern, just it's an easy thing to check. Is since there's a spacer in there, look at your hose as it wraps over the brake booster, because with you pushing it farther, if it doesn't push down there, it could catch in a spot and kink the hose a little bit, and you really don't want that. So yeah, just make sure there's no kinks in the hose, which I'll do, and then fire it up and show you guys everything. Also, to let you guys know, if you look at the old video, it'll show you. I can't remember, I think Dan goes over with the holes in there, somebody would be like, oh, it's impeding with the flow of the vapors going through it, like it would cause a blockage in a sense. I believe it can flow more air through it than the actual outlet of the CCV and through the hose. It can deliver like twice as much or something. You'd have to look at the old video. There were numbers that were thrown around. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but that actually flows more than the outlet. And so that there's no
restriction of flow.
Restriction of flow. So, but just make sure it's not kinked, because then there will definitely be a restriction of flow, and that's no bueno. You don't want all that. So let's fire it up and show you guys the end result.
Good to go?
Yeah, you're good, bro. Good to go. Now, I do see this a lot, so just to show you guys, like, people always wonder what, like blow by and everybody talks about it. So it's slightly puffing. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, just to show you guys that these trucks do have blow by, and that is natural with every diesel engine. So yeah, there you go, guys. I mean, should take about 10 minutes if you have to file it a little bit more, but pretty easy. It took us, what, 2 times to file it, and 2 tries, and we got it done. So thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to buy that or anything else that you see on this truck, hit the link below in the description. It'll take you to SP's website, and you can buy whatever you want. It helps the channel out, and so we can do more products to install on the truck to show you guys that these trucks are very capable. So, thank you, and we'll catch you on the next one.